did kill 4 people, she is a smoking hot warrior princess.
I'll make you a deal. You can kill Gemma, but don't touch Katie.
M3Gan.
All right, so you will talk about M3Gan 2.0, right? So I'll keep this preamble as quick as possible, right? So 2021, I think it was, right? Yeah, 2021, or was it 2022? I can't remember right now, right? Yeah, I think like when we saw that first trailer, yeah, we was all like, what is this? We doing like sci-fi Child's Play, and this is like a few years after the Child's Play remake, which nobody asked for, came out. But the character looking like this, like teenager, you know what I mean, with the skirt and whatnot. And then of course there was that viral moment of her doing that sort of weird dance. They're like, okay, Blumhouse, what does he try to do here with this movie? Like, is this supposed to be like a scary movie? Is it supposed to be like like the whole sci-fi terror kind of thing, or you're just doing a meme? You're just trying to create a meme out of this, right? What is this? Am I supposed to laugh at it? Am I supposed to revel in how absurd it was? I don't know, right? But yeah, movie came out, didn't care to see it in theaters, but I was surprised that people actually enjoyed it. I thought that critics and moviegoers was gonna rip that movie to shreds, but no, people actually like it, right?
Yeah, it had a real good marketing campaign. I remember that.
It did, right?
They went on. I think they went to some football game. It had a whole thing. They were spending their money.
Right. Yes. And they did that weird like M3Gan dance, all that kind of shit, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. They were there for a little while.
But then I actually watched the film for myself, right? I watched it home because it was unrated, man. And I sat down, I was like, all right, that was cool. That was very, very tongue-in-cheek. That's what it is. You could tell that the creators were just sort of winking the camera like, yes, we know this is stupid, but work with us, right? But of course, see that it's Blumhouse, the budget was kind of low, but it make a ton of cash, right? And I was actually surprised that it was popping up on people's best of the year stuff. I think it showed up on Tracy's best stuff. I was like, M3Gan, best stuff? No, okay, if you say so. Like, this? You serious? Right, whatever. But yeah. So of course, no surprise to anybody, we get M3Gan 2.0. But I wouldn't lie, like a sequel such as this was not something that I was looking forward to at all, right? Because yeah, I saw the first one. I was like, all right, that's fine, but I just never care to watch it again, right? I don't think if I rewatch it again, I would love it more, right? I just thought I was like, oh, okay, I get, all right, cool, whatever, moving on, right? So yeah, M3Gan 2.0, the sequel that everybody was looking out for. And yes, I saw the first trailer for it. Well, sorry, the teaser trailer, and playing on the whole the bitches back, whatever it is, the phrases. Like, all right, we leaning into that. Okay, we doing that. Okay. And then the first trailer come out, and it was kind of insane because now you're trying to do the whole Terminator 2 thing. So you have like the bad M3Gan being good because she reprogrammed and she going up against the next one. I'm like, okay, it's T2. Okay, that makes sense, but it's M3Gan though. Like, it's M3Gan though. Like, I don't know, right? I almost afraid to ask you if M3Gan Thee Stallion even do a song for this because I think it should be right up. Yeah, I know she better than that. But I mean, the name there, and the promotional value that could give, right? But yeah, let me just stop here because I said this was supposed to be a quick preamble, right? But whatever. But yeah, before you jump into 2.0, and you didn't really tell about why you went to see 2.0 in the first place. Outside of just me mentioning, hey, if you want to go and see 2.0, go ahead. But yeah, we talking about the first one, and in particular, the marketing fit.
Right. Yeah, again, it's one of those things you're not going into watching your own. This one I saw, what happens that I saw. Alright, so this was pure kind of happenstance because what happens, I had to kill some time. I had to watch, I went over to watch thing where I was with a friend. So that's why I went to see 28 weeks later because they weren't showing it by me. But this was shown by me, but I was like, I end up going to see that one time to kill some extra time, to meet somebody else. And that's the reason I went to see this after the fact, to see something, because I saw 28 weeks later and then I had to find out a time for that. Yeah, so that's the reason I had to go see 3 for this nonsense now. The first one I had enough fun with it. It was like very silly and over the top, but it was meant to be like tongue in cheek. And I told myself, like, if it told enough jokes, it would have been funny enough. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I can live with that. Like, as a conceit now. This was a lot of fun for what it was trying to do and say, and it meant to be tongue in cheek. It meant to be funny. Once you take it seriously, or at least you're into it, it's funny enough because you're telling the usual like AI dumbness, but then the AI go rogue. This is typical bullshit. We see this 10,000 times. But the question is, we're gonna do it as a central conceit, especially when you're dealing with it as a kind of from a for like a better term, like a feminist angle. Like what you're gonna do if it's a female robot? You're getting to that again. There's a implicit psychosexual concept to the whole thing. Especially the character looking like a child like this. So it's like, hey, how are you gonna think about this? You could see people doing, oh, they could play with the conceit of how to deal with like some pervert, or how to deal with this, how to react to society in this way. And I thought they was doing that for the most part. And then the dialogue is, again, it's very goofy stuff, but the dialogue was working. And they were making it funny for what it was and what they were trying to see. And yeah, I was having a lot of fun with that in its own premise, own conceit. And then I was like, all right, well, I never expected this to get a sequel in the way it did. Like, I was like, oh, they're doing a sequel, and then they just go straight T2. And yeah, that's what this is. It's straight up T2, right? The main character, I forget her name from the mother, she was the one who's the AI builder. She kind of distanced herself from the whole thing and want to just kind of lock off. But the world, they steal the technology and then decide to, I forget who it was. I think it's the government. What is to like make a bigger, better version of the M3Gan thing, and they have it evolving. So this thing gonna become a problem because they want to get rid of all of the things that created, because them the only people could stop it, kind of thing. That's basically general conceit. And then they go and get the old M3Gan to go and fight it, and that's basically the premise. But what they do with it, and it's kind of clever, is they had the AIs like it evolving now. So like the two of them talking amongst themselves, that we don't need these humans, and they kind of play with the idea of, well, why does the AI just fighting each other? They should like kind of talk to each other, have a conversation, and we get that. And we get a couple of conceits of that, and then one of the AIs evolve in their own way, and so on, so on, so forth. And sorry to say, this is not as good as the first one somehow, right? Look, the first one is not a masterpiece of a movie, but it at least had a workable, coherent structure. This one is a lot messier and couldn't flow as well, and I get what they're trying to go for, but that's the problem. One of the problems with these shows is that if you're playing with its own conceit, you can't really go up. You have nowhere to go. Like you can't go anywhere. It's the same problem that this show from HBO, West will have, right? Once you get to that point of this conceit of personhood, that's kind of the problem with all the AI stories. Once you get to a certain point about personhood, you can't really go anywhere with it, because then, we acknowledge these things as people, so that it's just another person. So you just do the typical, stereotypical people thing, and you're not doing anything interesting with it. At least not to me. But it was there. It was just there, but I think most of it just fell flat. And they was trying to do this idea of, they could come a kind of higher consider intelligence, maybe. But we didn't get that. Like we just get, it's just another morality tale and a morality conceit with respect to M3Gan and where the human's gonna fit in all of this. And none of it is interesting or well thought out. It's like, all right, I suppose.
okay, whatever.
Yeah, smarter people write it better in other ways, in other different ways. But this was just straightforward. So they wanted to make a smarter popcorn movie, but we didn't get that. And I just was like, okay, this kind of fell flat, and I just move on from it. Rating 6 out of 10. It's like some complete trash or anything like that. I had a lot of fun with it, as it was. But again, I'll admit, I only had fun because beers, and I was liming as a drink, and it was me and a crowd.
Yeah.
And me and a crowd and me and friends, and that's the reason I enjoyed way more than it. But I'm sure if I was just judging it on its own, I'd probably not like it as much. It wasn't terrible or anything like that. But I'd expect this to be smarter, but they try to be smarter and then they fail. And I was like, well, if you can't do it, don't try at all in that kind of scenario. At least in that situation, I get what they're trying to go for and trying to make it smarter, but it don't work. They was trying, but I felt it didn't work. But to be honest, I don't know where you're going to do it at M3Gan 2 anyway. So all right, I suppose. Yeah. It's not bigger and better, and they try something, but it kind of falls flat. I won't go as far as saying noble failure, but I'll put it as noble attempt failure. For lack of a better term, noble failure attempt. I don't know, noble failed attempt. That I'll put it in that camp, because it tried something, but yeah, it didn't really work in my humble opinion. So yeah, as I say, 6 out of 10, closer to 5 to be honest. So that's about it for me. Yeah.
Right. Okay.